Hi Capricorns, and welcome to your August 2021 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky coming on to talk to you about the energies coming in for your sign in the month of August. I hope you're all feeling really well. Let's have a wonderful dialogue stream of consciousness style about Capricorn in August 2021. I'm going to talk about some general intuitive messages as well as do a week-to-week tarot forecast for you all. And there will also be an extended reading on Patreon, which I will link below. If you're new, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications. I do these readings every month, as well as some other exciting content. So let's dive in. So Capricorns, Leo season, moving to Virgo season 2021. I think you're just getting your strength back. There could have been during Cancer season, so during July, beginning of July especially, there could have been some like mopiness or even feelings of your mood just not quite being in place or things not really coming together. But I do feel as August moves through and we get especially towards the end of the month that you are feeling back in charge of your life or back in control of your, at least the way you're feeling and the way that you are moving through your life. Things are really evening out. You have Justice and the Emperor coming up as your two major arcana cards this month. So you're evening out karma here, perhaps being paid back or as well paying something. And you're also going to have some type of creative control over something with the Emperor. There's a very executive quality to how your personality might be growing right now. And I think that most Capricorns are having a coming of age story this month that shows them how they can not feel subservient or not feel like other people are lording over them. There is something to say for Capricorn about arrogant people in your life or about haughty, prideful people. I've also felt this for Scorpio in August, and I think that that needs attention in August. So Leo is the sign of the king, sign of also arrogance in the negative, but in the positive, it's like nobility of character and helpfulness and creativity, creating things that are helpful not only to oneself, but to many others as well. So if you are, depending on what side of that you're on and how Leo is aspected in your chart, you might want to really look at how you're portraying yourself, and then also how people close to you are projecting as well, because you can start to see unfair relationship dynamics, like non-mutually beneficial connections with people where you might be giving everything and they're taking everything, like give an inch, take a mile is what I'm hearing. And that really has to be, I think, brought attention or brought light to. The greatest way to channel Leo season energy is to bring light to things, okay? So honesty, truth-telling, not being silent about your concerns can be good. And then there can also be a dogmatic side to that. We do have a lot of retrograde Aquarius energy where it can kind of be like, people can kind of get too enjoying of that process of even like throwing other people under the bus. There's something kind of like, I don't really like that 8 of Swords, 10 of Swords energy coming in, but you are navigating through that this month and you're rising above that, it looks like, and you are maybe just ending a long-running cycle of deceitful people in your life or arrogant people. That seems to be coming to an end here. And the way that that seems to be coming to an end, or the facilitation method, I guess, that you can use, is to just see things for what they are and to not fool yourself, and also to not feel like you have to do other people's bidding or like you're pressurized into doing other people's work for them as well. Sometimes Capricorn can really struggle with this, like do more work than they should, or overwork, putting in those overtime hours and maybe not getting as much of a benefit as they should. So you are understanding in the month of August how to value your own time better. And also, it feels like you're not wasting time anymore too. So that's kind of cool. I think especially by the end of August, people for who they are in your life. You see people's true colors, and you also see how you spend time for what it is too. And that's even more important here. Okay. So I feel that Capricorn gets really, really amazing, like through September, okay, next month, at using every hour of their day in the best way. So yeah, that's going to look like more relaxation probably, and also some more time to cultivate creativity. But I think that also for some of you, it might be more productivity too, and facing things which have been worrying you, and maybe being more laborious to think about than to actually get out of the way. That's something I've seen coming up for so many people. And Virgo season for a lot of people is going to deal with finally getting things done, finally getting things aired out, finally, donating those things that you never use anymore, liberating your own energy from very heavy, monotonous things which are not giving back in it to you in your life. So, like anything that's vacant, and I'm talking like inanimate objects here, especially like clutter, things that are filling up your environment. Those need probably handling now, and you'd be surprised at how that can really help your energy. But I do feel that even though certain moments in August for Capricorn can feel heavy or pressurized, or like the carrying out of your integrity or carrying out of what you need to face here can feel overwhelming, but I do think that it is faced, and I do think that the feeling on the other side of it is so worth it and so great. And I think it can be surprising, like when Capricorns are stepping into action, like how easy of a time that they have, but can they like let their mind not worry so much about things? Like you've got to amp the worry down, okay? Like the out of sight, out of mind tendency to like letting clutter build up, whether this is energetic, whether this is material, and just like looking away, Eight of Swords, like with the blindfold. So try to not cover your eyes to what is actually here, because that could start to really grow, okay? I do feel that things need airing out and to be seen in the life of a Capricorn. So anyway, let's talk about your week to week. Week 1, you've got Ace of Swords reversed, rooted down by Queen of Swords. So you're maybe battling two different paths or two different ideas. Like, I can handle this like this, or I can do it like this. You're kind of at the drawing board. You're kind of strategizing your next move forward. And it's encouraged to maybe not make it too overwhelmingly new. So brand new ideas, things which are totally uncontextual, things which are out of thin air. Ace of Swords reversed says that those things can be more trouble than they're worth. Queen of Swords is more so recommending a tried and true contextual idea or a plan of action to work with this. There is some kind of plan of action coming in the first week of August, and that's pretty cool to see for you all, because Capricorn is an action-oriented sign. It's a cardinal sign, so it wants that forward progression. And it's saying to do things how you know best, like do things in a way that you are like renowned for, or in ways that are customary to you, instead of like making it some huge deal that it doesn't have to be, with Ace of Swords reversed. So find that plan of action in the first week if you can, and do it in the way that you understand. Week 2, you've got Justice rooted down by 6 of Cups. So the way in which we give back in life, the way in which we offer helping hands, or how helping hands have been offered to us, is something that is renowned maybe in the second week, or known. So is this reputation-oriented stuff? It could be. It could be people asking like, okay, you've done so well. Well, what have you done to give back? There could be a dialogue like that. And then there could also be like, oh, wow, you've done so much to give back. Can you recommend what I can do, or how I can help your efforts further? Like, there's kind of a alliance forging, I feel, for Capricorn in the second week of August, where you might meet new people, or you might network. And there is kind of a feeling of the reputation preceding oneself in the second week of August. So knowing that, what an incredible week to also start building your most true integrity-based self from a very authentic place. Okay, we're not talking about building the reputation for the sake of reputation. We're not talking like, what do people want to see? How can I match that? Like, it's about things that you're truly passionate about and how that can help. So those are really good things to build. Like, what is because with the Six of Cups, here's the thing, like there's a giving, there's a helping hand, there's a feeling of mutual benefit and a feeling of no one really having an unfair advantage. So Capricorn is a sign that can have a lot of advantages and sometimes not the fairest advantages, but it depends on the Capricorn. You know, also Capricorn can be on either side of this to the extreme. Also, it can be very taken from as well. So that's kind of getting even back out in the second week, just as you see the even scales. So there's like a return to neutral. There's a back to square one feeling for some people as well. And also, you know, anything relating to legality can be well fixated at that time or resolved, resolutions in the second week. Week 3, you've got Eight of Swords rooted down by Queen of Pentacles reversed. So you've got to open your eyes to something. There's something about your own nature being reversed, or like maybe you're in a territory or an industry that's just not natural to you. With Ace of Swords reversed too, that's echoing that as well, like things which you have no context with. It's a beautiful, incredible year for doing the uncontextual, for trying new things, but you want to be careful about how dominant those things become and how quickly that becomes the case as well. Because you don't want to get thrown into a territory with which you have no footing. And that's kind of what I'm feeling in the third week. It's like a territory with no footing, or a place that also is maybe kind of like difficult to be. Like maybe you're accustomed to living in cold temperatures and all of a sudden you're in like a desert environment or something. And that could be in a lot of different ways in your life, like doing things that you're not used to. And I think that it helps you in the long run. But if you're feeling any frustration in the third week, or if you're feeling like, you know, you can't really move as easily with where you're currently at, I would try to enjoy the climb of that mountain. Okay, I would try to enjoy the human factor of, you know, the fact that no human ever has total, I guess, like dominance over a situation always. And there are times where we all have to be at the bottom of the mountain here and there, and where we maybe have to rely on other people to some degree as well to show us the way or guide us in some way. It does feel like guidance is really well received in the third week. Like if you need someone to like help you understand, like a guide, a lawyer, an accountant, a counselor, a therapist, an astrologer, someone to guide through this time could be very helpful. But of course, you don't want to become too dependent on these things either, as that is a concern with this 2021 year cycle, is becoming like dependent on people who you don't need to be dependent on. So just balance that out. Again, look back to the Justice card, like, okay, I know in this case I need to be guided, but then I'm going to, you know, understand how that works a little bit after that happens and not be reliant on these people. But yeah, I would also look at the diet. I would look at the spending budget as well. I would look at how things are repetitively, cyclically moving in your life. Because that might be an area to focus on. Like you might not even realize it, but the budget could very easily be reworked to give a much easier, calm life. So week 4, you've got the Emperor rooted down by 10 of Swords. That's a very interesting combination. I don't usually see that together. Usually 10 of Swords comes with it some type of like depressive energy, some type of like, I'm going to honor this shadow experience and I'm going to grow from this feeling of a life-altering moment. But the Emperor shows that you have control over it. So if you are having an ending, if you are like even like struggling with betrayal or bereavement of some kind, it's not a very typical version of that for you. It's like you aren't losing yourself in a process of bereavement, or you aren't losing yourself if you're struggling with betrayal. Like you still have so much, or you still have a lot of power over your own life or something. And it's kind of interesting to be like, well, I guess I could be totally, you know, wiped off my feet by this person's actions, but I also don't have to be. Like I can experience the emotions of this connection that I had while also maintaining how I've grown and not completely being derailed. So it's interesting. It's like maybe an emotional experience does happen in the 4th week, but it doesn't threaten to derail you at all. And I would really sit with that. I think that that's really important, not just for Capricorn, but for everyone. Like, do we really have to be derailed by uncaring people at this point in 2021 in this paradigm? Is it really necessary to fly off the tracks because someone is not who we wanted them to be? Because someone has changed, because someone has chosen even to do something really lacking in integrity, like to not follow through on their word, to lie, to cheat, to do something that is like really base and banal, that might happen. And I want to give you guys a heads up for that. Like, but it's a part of life too. It's a part of human experience. And for many Capricorns, it's not a matter of another person debasing your experience. For a lot of Capricorns, it's like working with the self. Like, can I not self-deprecate? Can I also like not get in my own way with this? Can I actually step aside for myself? That could be too. But regardless, there is a theme of like test. Like, would you let someone's lies derail you? Would you let someone's I don't know, infidelity derail you? Would you let a loved one's words have that type of power over your life? Would you let another person's actions rule you? It's really cool. I love this dialogue. It's one of the best dialogues ever on the channel, actually, these questions. Because I think in this paradigm of 2021, the way we've been focusing so much on growth of the self, the way that we've been focusing so much on, you know, neutralizing codependent bonds and building up independence. It's like these things, I mean, it's going to hurt always. Like if there's a betrayal, or even if we're standing in our own way, like it's like hard to see, like, why am I not allowing myself to stand aside for my dreams? Why am I standing in my own way? Why are these other people standing in my way? Like, yeah, it's never going to be something that feels good, and it shouldn't be something that feels good to like stand in your own way or to create those types of realities. But it is almost like, wow, I have a lot more time now. Like that relationship ended and look at all this time. That was all being taken from me before, like in that relationship. And maybe this person was never really that trustable. Whoa, the energy is doing something weird. Like my water bottle, just, you know that thing, like your water bottle will like, when the air pressure changes. I love these types of readings. It's like that though. It's like how the pressure changes, how your world changes when you realize these delusions that we have. Like, I have to have this person in my life in order for me to feel like I'm wholesome. I have to have this person tell me that my decision making is valid. I have to have these like reliances in my life to know. I mean, it's nice to have people who build you up. It's nice to have people who are trustworthy. I mean, that's priceless to a lot of people. But what I've noticed in all my years of doing this work, of working with people who've gone through incredible torrential betrayals and trauma, I've noticed that there is some kind of backhanded fortune that comes along with it. As crazy as it can be to imagine, that perhaps the previous lifestyle or the previous commitments were going, if uninterrupted, would have led to like a lifelong type of non-individual, I don't want to say like non-accomplishment, but like it's usually meaning like if you have a breakup or if you have an ending or if you have something that falls through or a betrayal, it usually means that prior to that, there was some loss of self kind of initializing. Okay. So it hurts. And especially if that loss of self had been in the works and you'd already kind of didn't have a lot of self to fall back on, that trauma can become so strong if we're talking about like breakups or loss. It's different with different types of trauma. But anything that's happening there in the Capricorn in the 4th week, like take it as like, thank you, universe, for not allowing someone with that type of banal integrity to hold face in my life as if they were out for my best interests as well when they never were, because their character was capable of this. Anything really low, like people doing anything really low. And even if this is just at this point in time, like shadow work for you or past work for you, like still working on previous betrayals, previous breakups, it could totally be like that with Six of Cups. Six of Cups is a past-oriented card. 10 of Swords and 8 of Swords can be as well. So maybe if you're not having anything like this in your life, and I pray that Capricorns are not, maybe it's just finally absolving yourself of that previous trauma, like that previous breakup that happened years ago, like still not understanding it, still feeling that sadness, still hoping to maybe reestablish a connection or to get closure or something. All of that has to be placed to the side now with a message of gratitude to Creator, a message of gratitude to the universe. Thank you for showing me who I am. Thank you for showing me my life. Thank you for showing me how I could fill time. Thank you for opening up all this space for me. And sometimes we're scared of that too, because then we can, if we're not thinking of it this way, if we're not thinking about it deliberately like this, we can then just fill that space with like video games or addictions or, you know, crying or looking back at old photos or something. And that's where we have to honor that too, because that's part of the bereavement cycle and that can bring rewards too. But if it comes to a point in time where too much time has passed and that in and of itself has become a coping mechanism, and a coping mechanism alone, there's really no discovery to it. There's really no like understanding of the greater self through it. That's when we have to look at it like this. Like, I have a lot of time now. I have a lot of space now. I have maybe almost like a signal from the universe that I'm needed for some type of greater purpose. I mean, sometimes that can start to lead to like narcissistic thoughts as well. But I do think that there's a place for it. I do think that, especially in the process of coping and the process of trauma, that letting it be that for you, like letting it be a call to a greater purpose, you know, after you have maybe gone through relationship abuse, maybe now you can help other people who have gone through that. And, you know, like that's a very, it could be anything. Like maybe it's not so obvious like that. Maybe it's like through that abusive cycle, maybe now you can truly understand the value of ethics and integrity. And maybe that can help you to make like one of the best businesses, or help you to really, it's not always so obvious, but try to see those bigger themes, and then try to also think like, what could I really spend my time with? Anyway, Capricorns, we talked for a long time in this reading. I just really love that dialogue stream of consciousness. I do think that it's a life-changing month for you, because I do think these are some of the best messages that have ever come through on the channel. And I thank you for being here and for being able to take part in that. Let me know if you have anything to add. Like, I love getting other people's thoughts on the messages, or if anything comes through like via a comment below. Be sure to hit the like button on this video. And also, I'm going to put together an extended reading for you now on Patreon. I will link that below and in the center of the screen now. We'll look at a supporting themes, central theme, and more information to understand this further. So let's check that out. Happy August to you, Capricorns. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.